This segment of Invent America TV is brought to you by the law offices of R.P. Baraska. RPB law offices have been bringing corporate-level legal expertise to the independent inventor community for more than 20 years. For all your inventing legal needs, trust rpblawoffices.com.
And thank you so much for being with us for this segment of Invent America, because America invents. We see those little problems and we come up with a better way of solving the problem. This segment is brought to you by Product Quick Start and Noah McNeely. If you're an inventor out there, or you know someone who needs some manufacturing done, US made, anywhere made, and prototypes made, Noah McNeely is the guy. Product Quick Start. And my guest for this segment is Sam. Sam, the inventor of SliceAway. Sam, introduce yourself to everybody, would you please?
So hi everyone, I'm Sam Spadoni. I invented SliceAway. It's a great product for everybody that eats pizza, even businesses for promotional items, stuff like that. But we can get into that in a little bit. But 26 years old, been kind of doing this since I was 18. Thought of an idea, and I just been going with it ever since.
Well, that's so cool that you have the wow moment. Tell everybody, what was it? I mean, I've read about it, so I know what it was, but tell everybody, because so many of our inventors out there, it's like they do exactly what you do, but they never take the next step. So what was your wow moment, and then when did you take the first step?
So my wow moment was actually back in college. I was in my dorm room with my buddies. We ordered a pizza. We ordered a full pizza. We're sitting there. We're like, all right, we don't have any utensils. We have nothing in here. It's a dorm room. So I was like, all right, well, what if the pizza came with a pizza cutter that you could just throw away afterwards? You could keep it for a couple times if you need to, or just throw it away. And then I kept thinking about it, and I was like, all right, well, now people can use it as a promotional item. And I was like, all right, and you get the pizza, they throw their logo on it, they throw their phone number on it, and you keep it for once or twice, and now you have their phone number for the next time you want to order a piece of pizza, or a company has their phone number as a giveaway item, stuff like that. It's a perfect thing that people just need. And then from there, I talked to my dad, who's been a very big help with this one. He was like, yeah, go for it. So got a patent lawyer. We went through all the steps, found out that I could do it. It was patentable, got it patented in the US, and I also have a European patent as well. And then got connected with a company who then connected me with Mike. I think you're familiar with Rita from Pronto Launch, who's been helping me out and getting some connections and going from there. But we're always looking for new customers and people who want to use a promotional item, pizza stores, insurance companies, anybody can use it. Anybody can put their logo on it. It's fully customizable, all that stuff. And that's kind of how the story is for where we are right now.
All right. So you call it SliceAway. How did you come up with the name? Because it's a cool name in the fact that it doesn't trigger someone to think it's only for pizza.
Yeah, so that was a big thing. So we wanted it's my idea, but I've kind of had my family help me out with the name and everything like that, which is awesome. I very family oriented guy, so I bunch of ideas, names coming through, and I had a huge list, and I sent it to my sisters. And I was like, all right, guys, how can we make this perfect? So then after all this little tweaks here and there, the name just was born, SliceAway.
So that's great, because so many times inventors will ask me, it's like, well, how do I name the product? And it's like, well, there's a couple of strategies to go through. One is, buy a nice bottle of wine, or, a 6-pack of beer, and sit your friends down around a table and say, what would you Google to find this? And then pick, a combination of words where you can get the .com. So that's one of the ways that, we've talked about, how do you name a product? And it's like, if you use something that's got a weird spelling, nobody knows to look for the weird spelling until you teach them.
Yep.
And, Apple paid a lot of money to teach you that an apple is something you play with instead of something you eat.
Exactly, yeah. So that's why we slice away. The slice from the pizza, and then you just slice away because it's easy. It glides right through the pizza. It's disposable. It is, to me, I haven't found anything better. It's the world's best disposable pizza cutter.
There you go. So, all right. So, put on your imaginary hat and tell us, what else can you use this for?
So I've used it. I've had some people test it. I've cut grapes with it. I've cut potatoes with it. Honestly, it's a little harder with the potato, but it does cut and it will cut nicely. I've cut a pie with it. I've cut flatbread pizza. I've cut cheese with it. So you could cut a lot of things with it. It's not just for pizza. That's why it's a great promotional item. 'Cause it does have a lot of coverage on it. You can get a nice logo on the head on the circle, and then you can get a number, a name, something on the handle as well. So it's perfect for promotional items as well as just as pizza.
I think it would be great in bakeries to
Yeah,
go with cakes and pies and, the wedding parties and all of those kind of places where you're cutting those things. And then instead of doing all the dishes, you just want to throw the stuff away.
exactly. The convenience of it's perfect, and it is recyclable, so it's even better. So it doesn't harm the earth. You can recycle it properly. That's what we like. That make sure it gets reused. It's not you can use it once. You can use it a couple times. It's not made to use forever. It's not made to use 100 times. It's a couple times you can get out of it, but it's definitely disposable. Recycle it if you can, because then it'll get reused and into the future and stuff like that.
All right. So, how have you been getting the word out, Sam? How have you been telling people that it's there?
So one of the big ones was the pizza convention in Vegas. It's the International Pizza Convention. It's one of I think the biggest one in the country. Thousands of vendors are there. Tens of thousands of people come, and it's a lot of it's face to face. That's the main thing of this one is the face to face interactions you have, and you could show off the product on hand to hand. You could show them how it works. You could have we had a little table, a little display, cut a little dough. That was the main one. You talk to people because if you're more personal with people, you tend to like the product a little bit more, and you're selling yourself and your product, not just your product, is the main goal. Um, yeah, you could sell a product, but if you sell yourself, you're going to sell the product as well, is what I've learned.
Yes, you're so right. And the everybody says, "Well, I'll sell it on social media." Well, social media by itself doesn't work very well.
Correct. Yes. We also have social media. It's SliceAway, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. We're all on there. There's a couple other video or two on there, and I have a website, SliceAway.com. A lot of merch, so you'll see it's. I've created all the merch as well. I've had some help from my sisters, of course. But it all looks pretty good to me. I like it. I've had good compliments on the stuff that's been created. So kind of just wearing it around, people asking, TikTok, people sharing, all that stuff. And every time someone buys one or something, then it'll get tagged, and then we'll tag it, repost it, all that fun stuff with social media.
So it's, they work together, the social media and the trade shows. You go to the trade show, you start getting the interest, and people say, "Oh yeah, I saw it," and they start going to look for you then
Yes.
on social media and websites. So that's a big deal. I mean, when you think about, okay, before you were born, that people, if they weren't advertising in the local newspaper and on TV, they didn't go anywhere. And then, oh yeah, you get the websites and the .coms going back in the early 2000s. It's like, well, it used to be if you didn't have a phone number, you weren't real. And then it got to be if you didn't have a website, you weren't real. And now if you don't go to a trade show, you're not real.
Yeah, no, there was a lot of people that I didn't know. There's new products at the trade show. There's a lot of new products. I was one of them, which was awesome to see, and you saw a lot of people that I could collaborate with in the future. A lot of new businesses and companies that were very interested. So we're following up with them. Bigger ones that throw their logo on it. They'll give it away at their big conferences, and then it's just a reminder and everyone loves a free gift.
Oh,
That
you
actually what
betcha. So stick with us, everybody. We will be right back with Mr. SliceAway himself. Right now, we need to go and pay some bills, and a big shout out thank you to King's Productions for making all this happen. We are grateful.
This segment of Invent America TV is brought to you by SearchQuest Patent Search. SearchQuest provides for a comprehensive patent search that searches the entire world and not just the U.S. Patent Office. Make sure that before you spend those big bucks having a patent written, you've done your due diligence by getting a comprehensive patent search. Use SearchQuestPatents.com for all your patent search needs. They scour the world for you.
Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for being with us for this segment of Invent America, because America loves to invent. We've been doing it since 1790. You know what? It's just gotten better and better. This segment is brought to you by TrueView. It is the only accurate 3D real-time imaging blind spot. Those semis come up or a big truck comes up beside you and you're in your little Prius and it scares the living daylights out of you when you realize that it is right next to you. The 3D real-time imaging blind spot mirror TrueView shows you exactly where it's at, exactly what size it is, and exactly when it will show up in your peripheral vision. You can get your TrueView mirror at cargocatch.com. So my guest for this segment is Sam Spadoni. Is that correct, Sam? I got a lot of vowels in there. Get going the right direction.
Yes, that is correct. Spadoni is.
And so you are the inventor of SliceAway, and the website is SliceAwayCutter.com. Does it go SliceAway or SliceAwayCutter?
So it's SliceAway.com.
SliceAway.com. Excellent.
Yes.
All right. And so, what has been your biggest challenge going through all of this?
So the biggest challenge is definitely finding the right people to get the ball rolling. Is because you got that's the hardest part that we've kind of gone through, that I've kind of gone through, is finding the right people to start off with, to who's going to buy the first 10,000, who's going to buy the first 100. Because once you get there, then the ball starts rolling, the name gets out there, people start to talk about it. That's the hardest challenge. So once you get there, you can kind of, hey, this guy liked it, all that stuff. So that's been the hardest challenge so far.
And it is for a lot of inventors. It's like, okay, you've got the product. How do you start selling it? And yours is a little bit different because it's not primarily a consumer product. It's more of the business to business, right?
Correct. Yes. So it's both. You can get both aspects of kind of everything. So it can be consumer. You can buy it online on the website. You can buy it in 10 packs. Or businesses can come to us. They can email me. They go through the website, and then we can get custom orders. It is fully customizable. You can get it clear, any color you want, logos. You can get it phone number on there. If you want to contact me, we can kind of go through exactly what you can do, but it's pretty customizable, which is the nice thing about that. It's pretty cheap as well because it's a plastic, disposable, dishwasher safe, and it's a great promotional item for large companies, small companies, your 50th anniversaries, stuff like that. And another big thing that we're doing is we're trying to get holidays. So, smaller companies can now buy a smaller amount of graduation ones, 2026 graduate, or the American flag for the 250 year we just passed. So stuff like that, like a heart for Valentine's Day, is kind of the market, the business to business one, but it also could be consumer with the SliceAway logo on it.
So how long have you been doing this now?
So I first came up with it in 2018, 2019. Couple years of the patent process, kind of started everything up, and then started officially selling, I would say, about a year and a half, 2 years ago.
All right. What has been, the biggest disappointment, the scariest part of all of this?
Scariest part is finding that first buyer, the first client, the first customer. It's definitely scary to put yourself out there. I don't mind it. It's definitely scary at first, but you just gotta get used to it. I am the face of the company, so you got to do it. You got to get your product out there somehow. You can't just rely on others to do it. So you just got to jump in there and just say, hey, this is my thing. Let's go with it.
Yeah, it's funny because I know exactly what you mean, because I'd written and had published 3 murder mysteries. And the first time I got on an airplane and someone was reading my book and I didn't know them, it's like, yes, we're making it. Because otherwise it'd been only people I knew that had bought any of them. So
Yep.
It's always fun when you get that first order because somebody wants it and appreciates what it is and what it does, as opposed to saying, hey, Mom, do you have any other friends who want to buy one of these, right?
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm excited for the one day that I'm hoping soon that I order a pizza, or, I go to one of these conventions, or one of my buddies like, hey, look what I just got from one of my meetings. It's yours. It's the thing that you made. That's the day I'm waiting for, and I'm hoping it soon.
So I hope it for you as well. So what's next? I mean, you come this far. What is your next challenge?
Next challenge is to just go up the chain. So, my business partner, Pronto Launch, Mike, has been helping me out. But but we're always open for more people, to help us out. And the next challenge is to go sell more, to find the next big guy and get it everywhere. I want everyone to have it. I think it's a great product. I think it could be used for everything. So I think everyone just needs to try it is the thing. It's just, to me, it's an amazing product. It's simple, it's reliable, and it's disposable.
It's wonderful, and it's like SliceAway, everybody. Come on, go get yours now at SliceAway.com. What's the next show that you're going to?
So I actually haven't planned that yet, but I'll definitely be going back to the International Pizza Show. And I believe end of March it typically is. I haven't checked for next year's date yet, but it's usually like the last week, second to last or last week of March. It's like the biggest pizza show. Maybe I'm going to try and get to some of the other like business related ones, try to promote it that way. Walk around, say, hey, great promotional item for you guys, throw your logo, phone number, stuff like that, your colors. Everyone likes to see their colors passed around. So that's kind of the next thing we want to go.
All righty, sounds good. Well, we're going to get you back on again when we do one of our episodes of Inventing in America so that we can actually talk to you a little bit longer. Thank you so much for being with us today. Stick with us, everybody. We're going to be back in just a few minutes with our industry expert, Patty Duffey. She has been doing trade shows professionally for a long time, and she works the other side of the aisle. She's the one that goes and looks for the buyers for the different products. So, Sam, you might want to stick around for a minute and meet Patty. But, and I was reprimanded that, years ago when we were starting to do all that advertising, radio was the big one, and that is where we do a lot of our advertising as well. So we get these products out there and advertise on the radio, good old-fashioned American radio. So stick with us, everybody. We will be back in just a few minutes after we pay some bills. And a big shout out again to King's Productions for making sure this happens and that we stay on the air. We are grateful.
If you're an inventor or you know an inventor out there who would just like to be able to have a conversation with other inventors, join the Inventors Roundtable. It's free. The meetings are virtual, so you can be anywhere in America and talk to another inventor. And for a lot of folks out there, understanding the process, being able to ask questions, getting good service provider information is critical to the inventing process. So, got questions? Want to join? It's free. inventorsroundtable.org.
Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for being with us for this episode and segment of Invent America, because America invents. This segment is brought to you by Aztec Washer. It is a revolutionary and innovative roofing products, and they have been doing this since 1968. Seal it right, seal it tight, aztecwasher.com. And my industry expert for the next two segments is Patty Duffey. She is an amazing expert. I've had her work trade shows with me and for me out in Las Vegas. Patty, introduce yourself to everyone and give us a little bit of background.
Hi, everybody. Patty Duffey, and industry expert. Well, I've got a marketing background, sales background, and a food service background. So I was thrilled to be on the show this time around with Sam, because for many, many years I sold pizza flour and spaghetti sauce, and I attended the International Pizza Expo for about 3 decades worth. So it was a product that I think is a great product. So I hope Sam is still listening, because I think there's really a lot of opportunity for that product. And I think quesadillas could be another item that you could use it for. The pizza industry is really interesting, and I spent many years in various food companies on the bakery side, ready to consume products like cereal and fruit roll-ups and things like that. But the side where you're dealing with restaurants and food service operators is so exciting, because it's multifaceted. You aren't just going out into the world and hoping that some consumer someday is going to bring your product in and eat it. You've got all these channels of distribution in between, which makes it a more complicated business, but it's also much more interesting. And so in the food service world, trade shows are great, but it's really not for the consumer that you're doing the trade show. It's for all those middlemen in between.
Yeah, I think it would do, great at the International Bakery Show. I'm assuming that they've got something like that. where the frozen pies, you slide one of those in with all the frozen pies, and cakes at the bakery with the bakery's name on it, because everybody bakery wants you to come back and use them again. And it's like, oh, what was the phone number of that bakery? Let me order another cake. So the SliceAway, the name is wonderful because it doesn't pigeonhole the product into just the pizza industry.
I agree. And that International Bakery Expo is just one of many. There are so many bakery shows out there, and there's the fancy food show, and there are hotel and restaurant shows that pizza operators are everywhere. And Sam being in Chicago, he certainly knows that that's one of the pizza capitals of the world. But that's the thing about the pizza industry, is that everybody thinks they can be a pizzeria operator. And so they come in from all different countries. They come in with no food experience at all, and all of a sudden they're in the pizza business. So if there's a product or a food out there that a representative can go into a pizza operator and say, I can help you with this, I'm your go-to person, they welcome them with open arms.
Absolutely. So why is the face-to-face contact so valuable?
Well, the industry, like the pizza industry, has so many different facets to it, and there are so many people out there that to bring them all together in one place is really a challenge. I mean, I grew up in Wisconsin, so they used to say this about bars in Wisconsin: there's one on every street corner. Well, in Chicago, there's a pizzeria on every street corner. And so how do you rally those people together? Well, you really need to target a show where they are all going to be, or a conference, an educational meeting of some sort, and talk to them on their turf, because they're already in that mode of thinking about your product and how it fits into their operation. So you have to go to them. You can't really sit and wait for them to come to you.
You made a good point. I know we had a young lady that had a medical product, and it was a big deal. It was a game changer in its particular field. And her dad was her backer, so they went, and they were then invited to speak at a conference, and that's where they met the licensee then for that product.
That's exactly right, Rita. In fact, at the Pizza Expo, we used to take our technical person, and I would accompany the technical person. We would go and talk about flour in the pizza industry, the various protein levels and so on. So I would talk about how do you contract flour, while the technical person is talking about how the doughs rise and what you can do to get a better dough and the protein content and so on. So we teamed up like that, and we would get a lot of leads simply from doing that educational thing. And generally, they are looking for speakers to come in and speak about that. I mean, in Sam's case, he could even go to a cutlery educational program and talk about it there. He could go to a marketing place that's talking about promotional items and talk about his product there. So he's got a lot of different avenues that he could go to get his product exposure.
So I always thought that pizza was about the water.
Well, that's one of the aspects, but and granted, I might be a little biased. But
I'm just wondering.
It's the protein in the flour that's a very big deal.
All right, I will take your word for it. So what is the difference? I mean, people hear a lot about consumer shows. What's the difference between a business-to-business show and a consumer show?
Well, if you've already got a product that's in distribution somewhere, it's in a warehouse, it's in a food service distributor, it's online somewhere, then you're looking for the ultimate user, the end user, or in the food service world, we call it the operator. And so those are the people that will actually pay the money to buy your product. Now, in the case of, let's say you don't have any distribution at all, you could go to consumers all over the place, and there are so many of them, but if they want to get your product, they have to have a place to go and buy it. Either a retailer, a wholesaler, or a food service distributor to get it. So it depends on where you are in your marketing journey to decide which one you should go after.
I mean, one of the things that I've noticed over the years, and I've been going to trade shows, it was almost embarrassing, about 40 years. And when I really started thinking about it, it's like, yeah, I have been for a long time. And you see the different industries. I've been to the National Funeral Home Industry Show. Who would have thought that, but there is one. There is a national, I've been to the National Asphalt Show. It wasn't very big, but the Inventor did very, very well. So when you think about, the industries, there is a show for every single industry out there.
Especially here in Las Vegas.
Well, that is true. Yes, the one I went to for the National Asphalt Show, I think, was in Nashville. But that was a while back. But like I said, he didn't need a big show. All he needed was the right buyers.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you look at those very specific shows, a lot of times, rather than having the monster show where there's all kinds of industries, focusing on your industry, like the International Pizza Show, which is very pizza specific, all right, as opposed to a show that's just kind of all over the place and you're not really sure. We've been to a lot of those shows, but we're learning that the ones that are specific are frequently better.
And people will pick that up. Once you get known in one industry, other industries will take notice. So it does happen that way.
All right, when we come back, we want to talk more about, how does someone get teed up for that professional show? So you can think about that. That's going to be your next question. And we're going to run off and pay some bills, everybody. Stick with us. We will be airing this coast to coast and streaming a few days later on 20 different platforms. So you can always find us out there, inventamerica.radio.com. Stick with us, everybody. We will be right back after we go and pay some bills.
TrueUp, easiest way to hang your pictures. We all know how stressful picture hanging can get. TrueUp comes with everything you need to level and hang pictures with no damage and no mess. Just peel, apply the adhesive to the back of the TrueUp mount and press firmly. Remove the remaining adhesive. Use the level and press and hold for 3 to 5 seconds to attach the TrueUp mount to your wall with a strong hold. The TrueUp frame adapter is compatible with most frames on the market. Apply the adhesive strip to the adapter, stick, and your frame hangs easily on the wall mount. This lets you adjust your picture side to side for perfect placement every time. The possibilities are limitless, and it's easy on your walls. Picture hanging can be truly a one-person job. TrueUp, the future of hanging is here.
Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for being with us for this segment of Invent America. And my guest for this segment is Patty Duffey. She is a professional trade show representative. So if you've got to get to a trade show and you need some help, Patty Duffey is in Las Vegas. That's where most of the trade shows are these days. That's where we had been going for the last 20 plus years. And I met Patty when I needed some help at my trade show. So she came and helped us out. Was absolutely amazing. So Patty, how do you give someone advice on setting up for the professional trade show? What do they do before? How do they do it there? And how do they do it after?
I would say that you really need to do a lot of your homework up front before you get to the show. And really targeting is key. If you come to a show and you don't know who it is that you want to talk to, you are just wasting your time. Because like the Pizza Expo, there are nearly 10,000 people that come to that show. You cannot talk to 10,000 people and be effective in getting your story out there. So your homework up front is looking at who attends that show and then contacting them in some way and letting them know that you would like them to stop by your booth. Now, you have to give them some kind of incentive, whether it's information, education, or a promotional item, like perhaps the SliceAway, and let them know that you want them to stop by. That's the key, is once you get that foot in your booth, then you can go to work and do your sales job. But to just stop people walking down the aisles and saying, hello, do you want to check this thing out? They might not be interested. So it's that homework up front that is really key. And most of the websites out there for shows now will tell you specifically, there are X number of thousand people that are going to be attending, and these are the types of individuals that attend. Well, now with AI, you can almost find anything online. So you can go out there and say, I want to find all the buyers of X, or all the people that work for these chains, or whatever industry you're looking at, and you can target them through social media and let them know you need them to come and stop by your booth, and here's why it would be a benefit to them to stop by your booth.
Yeah, I would, when we were going out there, I would always, people say, well, are you going to have chairs? No, you're there to work. You don't get to sit down. Because it's like, if someone walks by you, they could be a buyer and you don't know. But if you're looking at their belly button, you're not making eye contact. You have to be standing up. You make eye contact. You know, you don't eat in the booth, you don't sit on your phone in the booth, and you don't sit down in the booth. You stand up and you engage people and you talk to people. And I would have more inventors after we were done saying, now I get it, because I walked down this row here and there were people sitting in the, in a chair looking at their phone, and everybody just kept on walking by. And you see people down the next booth, everybody's standing up working, and everybody wants to talk to them and see what's going on.
That eye contact is so important because they stop for a moment if you've made that eye contact and say hello, and that gives you time to look at their badge and see, are they somebody that could be a potential buyer for me? We always learn to see badges at, we used to say 30 yards. And usually there's a color strip on the badge that says they're a buyer, exhibitor, or some kind of an extraneous, they're a PR firm or whatever. And if you see that they're not a buyer, hey, all you did was be friendly to somebody, and that impression might stick with them later on when they might be of help.
Yeah.
You've done no harm except 30 seconds of saying hello.
Right. And you don't know until you engage. What brings you to the show? Oh, I'm here with my husband. Well, have a nice day. I hope you have a good time. And you go on to the next one. Or I'm a buyer for, General Mills, and you say, oh, let me show you my product and let me give you a sample. So you pick and choose, what's going on, who you're speaking with. And the other thing I would always advise them is don't go alone. Take someone with you who can work call Patty and see if she's available to work the show. Because you almost always meet more people when you're walking the floor and checking out the other exhibitors and listening to conversations than you do just standing in your own booth. So you really need two people.
The other thing that's effective is when you do pair up like that, one person can be talking to somebody in the booth while the other one is sort of looking at the perimeter and seeing what's in this booth. Does this look like something where we want to spend some more time? And then you connect with your partner and then say, time to move on. That's probably not one that we're going to spend some time on. Or if it is, then you jump in and then you have a three-way conversation to spend some more time.
You do. You meet more people and you learn more in a 3-day conference than you do 6 months online.
Absolutely.
And it is, you get there early. All right. That was the other thing I tell people. It's like, other people are there early, and you can have great conversations when you show up before the doors open to the people, the attendees, because you're able to talk to other exhibitors and you learn a lot. And you never know when that exhibitor is going to say, oh, well, I know John over here. He licenses products like that. You never know unless you're there. You stay late. Same thing.
The mindset is you are always on. Don't take a break and go to lunch and then think you're not going to be selling during lunch, because you might be sitting next to somebody in that concession area who does that very thing, or the hotel lobby, or on the bus on your way to the show. So you're always on for those 3 or 4 days of the show. Don't think you're going to get a break until you get back in that hotel room at night and you're under the covers ready to go to sleep.
There you go. There you go. That's for sure. It was so funny because, we used to get a hotel room, and if I couldn't find a restaurant open between my booth and my bed, I didn't eat. Made my husband crazy. So then we started renting a house, and we'd hire a cook to come in and take care of us. So we'd get back and happy hour set out, the cooking is all done, and she'd do the cleanup afterwards. So all I had to say, oh, that was the best. Because then, we were able to leave. And somebody said, well, you don't go to a casino and bet? No, my bet is in the convention center. I don't need to go to a casino. So what is the value of using then? I think we're counting down here, but you go as an exhibitor, not as attendee. You really need to be able to have that exhibitor badge, because that gives you all kinds of rights to talk to people that if you're just an attendee and you're trying to think that you're going to squeeze in there and show your product off, they will escort you out.
Yes, they will. They call that suitcasing. If they find you going up and down the aisles trying to sell and you have not purchased a booth, you'll be out the door and you will not be invited back to that show.
Yep. That can be really stinky. So fortunately, I was never on that side of going to a trade show. I was always on the exhibitor side to going to a trade show. Thanks everyone for joining us today. We will be back next week with more stories on getting products from mind to market. We will have new inventors and industry experts. So join us and have a wonderful week.